What's going on, y'all? Corpus Christi Originals back at it again. Today we got a special episode. We got Isaac Sanchez as guest host, interviewing Trip. But real quick before that, I wanted to give a shout out to our sponsor, South Texas Lacrosse, nonprofit organization, veteran owned and operated. The next event is September 27th at 10 a.m. Waldron Field. Learn the basics of lacrosse before the fall season starts October 22nd. He's got a link tree, South TX Lacrosse. Check him out. But yeah, so without further ado, I got Isaac to come on the stage so he can go ahead and host this podcast for us.
Man, appreciate it. Man, I just want to say thank you for allowing me this opportunity, man. This is really cool. This is when the conversation started, I wasn't expecting all this to come from it, but I'm glad to be here. Grateful for this opportunity. And I'm glad to have our guest here, man. You've been somebody I've been wanting to like kick it with and like talk to for a minute. I found you first time I saw you was at the Zoo's MC battle. I had never, and you're local. So I was like, when he asked, like, if you were gonna interview somebody, who would it be? You were at the top of my list already. So
I appreciate that.
Why don't you give yourself an introduction, man? Tell us about yourself.
I'm Trip, born and raised here. Spent a lot of time here. Later chapters of my life ended up being overseas, pursuing some work opportunities. But yeah, this is home. This is always going to be home. It's where my roots are growing in. And man, I love the opportunity to be able to share, kick some knowledge.
Yeah,
and, just spread some stories, man. There's a lot of life that's been lived.
That's what I'm interested in.
We got a lot of. So that night with the MC battle, I didn't know if I was going to make it or not because I got driven down from Alabama. I was doing a job in Alabama, some side work, and I was trying to make it down in time. And we literally came straight into the event, dropped me off. I changed clothes on the sidewalk right there, hopped into the event. And I was just ready, man. Being in the car that long, you're ready to let out some aggression. So first opponent, good luck.
Yeah.
And I got to battle my brother Indy in the finals. I've never thought of battling Indy because he's a staple here, man.
He was in here like talking about how he didn't win because people were saying we rigged it and all that whatnot. And I was like, that wasn't rigged. Indy getting smoked in the end. Love you, man. But that was ended up being a good battle.
Yeah, that's a little stitch that gets annoying when you hear it because Public Zoo has been putting on shows for more than 25 years, to my knowledge, of just my existence within the group, and they've always shown mad love. I've always been comfortable doing shows and knowing where their hearts are at when it comes to music, expression, the dancing, DJing, the whole element of the matter. And
I think, I don't know, when even just the little bit I have seen and heard of you, like you're one of us as far as the purity of it. Like when we talked about it on our episode, and I want to dive into that here in a bit, but I would say you come from a purest heart, like style, similar to all of us in that sense.
Well, I think a lot of us share the same cloth of, especially internally, we love to fraud check people. We love to see something happening and be like, we can tell when someone just learned it last night. And trying to, the first time they read a book, now they want to be the first one on the mic to say they learned something. Like, calm down, man. There's a lot to it because, I got my first hip hop album that I ever owned was a CD, and it was Bone Thugs and Harmony, East 1999.
Man,
that's what kicked it off.
I was gonna ask, but I want to circle back a little bit though, and just curious because this is Corpus Originals podcast, and one of the ideas I had is because when you're hanging out like with random people, one of the things, especially local, like what's one of the first things people always ask is like, yo, what school did you go to? But I want to take it back. Like, what elementary through high school did you go to? What side of town you from, man?
All right. Like the original South Side before it started expanding.
Okay.
Because I barely counted Kings Crossing South Side. That almost felt like its own division. Almost
in
like
my high school years, we started.
San Antonio, it felt like it was its own division. Saratoga and Weber.
Okay.
But more in between Saratoga, Holly. So the elementary that my parents ended up taking me to was not one that was in my area, not in my district. They ended up taking me to Chula Vista, which was more on the west side off Horn.
Yeah.
And my sister had already gone there. They loved the fact that it was a fine art school and you could take electives. And at that age, we're talking about 1991, 92.
And that would feed back in. So that means you went to Wilson? No, not Wilson. Was it the Gifted in Arts? It's an elementary now. What is it? That middle school. It's
Oh no, so I
Winseal.
so that is the feeder school, right?
Right.
And I remember doing field trips over there to check out Winseal. But Tom Brown is
Okay.
that's right. That's in the neighborhood.
And what years were these?
So I graduated elementary, if that's an honor, 1995.
Okay.
So
No, we're not too much.
so then I started, getting into middle school. Those ages, 1999. I'm a freshman. Man,
What high school?
Time flies.
I
Okay, so I
know.
went from Tom Brown to Carroll High School.
Right. R.I.P.
Right.
Have you been by
Right?
there?
Yeah. I pass it by often, man. It's no longer not the
No.
place I used to leave my footprints at.
Yeah.
And I only stayed there for about a year and a half. I then head to King High School.
Okay.
Went over there off of a sports move. I was super involved with sports.
What sports?
Just mainly basketball.
Okay.
I played a bit of everything when I was younger, for many seasons, and that's what kind of built my rapport with so many sides of the town. If you're part of sports, at least if you're playing 4 sports a year,
If you're in anything
at
here, in
6 years old,
Corpus,
7, 8, 9. I
Mhm.
mean, these are 4 sets of teammates that you meet every year. So it's
Yeah.
at least 40 new friends every year that you're just collecting and collecting. And
people don't understand that about Corpus. Like, there's a small town feel here that you have. Like,
but is it small? Is it really that small?
I mean,
what's the
what do
population?
they
Like
say? They
320.
said the 5 laws of connection or whatever. Did I say that right? But everybody here, I think it's even closer here in Corpus, like 3 or 4.
So here's something interesting about Corpus.
Let's hear it.
It's about 320,000 population.
Right.
That's bigger than Pittsburgh.
Wow, that's some perspective for you.
It's roughly the same size as Cincinnati.
Okay.
Uh,
Texas, man.
and-
That's what we consider small.
and- And of the general population, it's even bigger than Venice, Italy.
That makes sense.
And so where does Corpus get this? You got to stop feeling small after a while.
Yeah, that's fair.
We're in a part of the states that is growing rapidly.
Yeah, but
And-
like you said, like you play sports with people, like I don't know.
you see everybody.
Yeah, you
in a
see
year.
everybody, you know.
Everybody,
Yeah.
everybody you ever met, you can see in a year.
100%.
Yeah, it does, man. And
So-
but that's some of the charm to it as well.
That was
I can say that.
that was peak 90s you went to school from, man. So what was this? Paint a picture, man. What was the fashion like back then? What were you rocking? And I'm gonna piggyback on that. What was your first intro into hip hop? You said it was the Bone Thugs and Harmony CD, but was it?
Oh, we
was
got
that
a lot.
between
To,
that
we
gap?
got a lot to unravel with
Yeah.
that. So fashion wise, I didn't know how to dress.
I mean-
I didn't know what I was wearing. Like once I figured it out, like the first things I ran towards was the South Pole, Fat Farm,
Okay.
FUBU, Rockaware, Aniche. I was just running towards whatever was nice off the rack, like at
Yeah.
Marshalls
That's fair.
and Ross, and or even at Burlington. That's where I
Yeah.
find my pants at. The only thing I knew how to do was wear jerseys, man. I was wearing them Champs jerseys,
Athlete.
the throwback ones in the early 90s. That's all I wanted, size 40, size 44. Those good old days, man, when jerseys were affordable.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, man, as a transition, the one parallel I loved with basketball in the 90s is that there was a strong connection with hip hop
For sure.
and how hip hop was almost being adopted with basketball as
that was
like,
kind of
like a
would you say
partnering
that was the
sound.
early years that was kind of coming around.
Yeah, I mean, like when Spike Lee's doing, joints with Jordan, and you're hearing Heavy D,
Okay.
with Michael Jackson, like
Yeah.
you're starting to see elements of hip hop starting to take shape and form in pop culture. And I think
Kind of
basketball was one of the,
yeah.
because a lot of hoopers think they can rap,
That's fair.
and a lot of rappers think they were once hoopers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. You ain't wrong.
so some of the first, some of the first times I can remember, like really diving into, like wearing hip hop on me is first I need to find my voice.
Okay.
There was no internet really like that back
Yeah.
then. The library might have had it, but I'm trying to find lyrics to songs. And I remember having to, tape cassette, rewind, play, and just copy out lyrics.
Yeah.
Some of the first lyrics I ever copied out was a Bone Thugs and Harmony song, Thug Love, Tupac's verse.
Okay.
I remember writing it on paper and then just rewinding it, playing it again, and rapping it, rewinding it, playing it
Dang.
again, rapping it. And my friends around that time, I had a few friends at Tom Brown that they started breakdancing often.
Okay.
And they're pretty nice with it. I was always a little heavier, so it was tougher on my hands. But
I was
you
gonna
got
ask.
down.
I was gonna ask. So was MCing and rapping your first element that you kind of got into? Because I know you DJ now too.
Naturally, I'm a writer, so I was naturally already writing things. Okay. I'd already tried to write some whack rhymes as some start outs. But it starts with the pen with me. So I'd say my wit, the gab that I was able to get from, endless game sessions with my parents where the whole room's talking trash and you got to learn how to snap back.
Yeah.
You kind of form your tongue at an early age. Then when you notice you're around people, how your responses, like your rebuttals to things, are pretty sharp because how you grew up out of home with that.
Yeah.
And so I always felt like a natural MC. But when you just start seeing, because remember at that time, footage was limited.
Right.
And when you saw it on TV, you were shocked to see someone break dance, and you almost wanted to run and just record and play at the same time, just to rewind it and see what move they did or something like that.
Yeah,
so
how to copy it.
So for sure, thinking about like Beat Street, and catching Wild Style, even Style Wars. This is around the time I started trying to graffiti for the first time. Nice. You got to get out 1,000 whack ones before you finally find your touch.
Man, I'm still working.
Shout out to Dose.
Holding
it down, man. He's going worldwide with his stuff, man.
Yeah, out in Hawaii.
Love to see it. So I would say the order was emceeing, then trying to b-boy.
Okay.
And then graffiti.
Because it popped here around that time.
Yeah. And this is me trying to b-boy at like 97.
Yeah, that was about.
But it was a short span. I stopped by about 99, 2000.
That's fair.
That
was a lot of people.
Broke my ankle several places in basketball, and I had to focus on priorities. And
so was there, we're talking like early years of Corpus hip hop right there. Was there a connection between the elements, or was it just like these cats are writing, these cats are breaking, and we all kind of just like-minded? Or was it like embraced as one culture back then? That's something I've always kind of wondered about.
Just because someone may do the same things you do doesn't mean they're relatable to you.
That's
so
fair.
It doesn't mean you have to hang out with them. But I feel like it was maybe one of the most unrecognized formulas of a grouping of individuals that didn't know that they belong together. Like a Down by Law pack, like you're from that cloth.
Yeah.
Like you see things like
it's like a skateboarder and a BMX rider. You're like, yeah, same.
We'll take like a skateboarder, because skateboarders adopted a lot of hip hop as well.
Yeah,
I love them for that. Tony Hawk, that's another separate memory.
Elijah
that game, man. Yeah.
Elijah, that's Elijah.
And but when you have somebody who's come from a different, like two different kids that came up in the same household that now met each other through two different expressions.
But were the elements really rocking with each other like that back then? Or were you just like you say, you're cut from the same cloth?
They were, but it was more aggressive.
Okay.
It was more aggressive. You had to test somebody to see if they were about it as much as you were about it.
Yeah.
That's where battling comes from.
For sure.
That's where you're marking out territories. You're marking out new tags because they beat you to it, and you're just bitter they beat you to it. Like everyone wanted to prove it to each other.
That's fair.
But it was that iron sharpens iron, and what was left of that becomes crew.
Yeah, that's fair.
Kind of.
What were some of the crews? Do you remember any from that time?
Man, I don't see. I went away to college.
Okay.
Right after high school, 2003, but that's right around the time when it was Flat Broke Hustlers, Public Zoo. Man, who was out there? EMAC was out. 5 Cent. Willie Nichols was 5 Cent at the time. He was out. I'm not forgetting people. I'm forgetting hella names.
It's all good. Hey,
Gotti Gang was had a great stretch. Then soon after that, we had the Unbeatables, and then we had the Gulf War battles, and it was like the scene was rocking. I feel like the scene was really rocking. Soon after that time. But as far as crews back then,
that's all.
Man, my head was on just looking straight at basketball for it.
It's cool. Wow. It just popped up on my Facebook. This is one of the only reasons I keep it around, is for the ability to see the memories on there. 15 years ago, I had my first breaking battle, and it was hosted by Public Zoo, and I was already kind of into it up until that point. I had been to San Antonio, kind of got exposed to what real Texas breaking looks like. Came back super motivated, and then the OGs, Indy, and all them were like, "Hey, we're hosting a breaking battle," and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill it." And it ended up being us versus a San Antonio crew. We had enough. We turned a one-on-one into a crew-on-crew, super improv, super hip hop, and it was a dope night, man. That night was after that first battle. I was like, this is it, and so it's pretty cool.
That's a feeling right there. That the feeling of when it's over. And you realize the state of mind you're now coming back out of, like you're normalizing yourself.
Yeah.
You just caught the glow.
Yeah.
You know, for that moment that happens on stage, emceeing, you know, doing shows, battling, you get locked into this laser focus to where it's just, you know, what's my mission?
Yeah.
Like I'm going to execute my mission no matter what. And there's nothing that can disturb me. Nothing distracts me.
I was going to say, no one's going to mess this up.
You're just in your own element, and not a lot of people have experienced that, so it's hard for them to.
That's what I wanted to talk
know
to
why
you
it's so
about. Is
passionate
there
to us.
like early years of battling? What do you remember your first battle as an MC, or what are your earliest memories of battling?
It would be like jonesing, really, like in the locker room.
Okay.
Like 2 bars set up. My name is. I'm from like, or making fun of each other. Or we'll just do on the bus coming back late night from like a Harlingen game, and it's, you know, midnight. We're on the bus, and of course we cracking up. We got the victory, and kick a little freestyle session. Now we can get a little silly, and it always turns into someone disses someone first, and then it turns into everyone dissing each other.
Yeah,
and so that, you know, that's a little precursor to it. But I just started noticing that I don't like the way a lot of people move. And I watch. I like to observe crowds.
Okay.
If you ever see me by myself, man, I'm looking at the world like an experiment.
Yeah.
You know, I'm so zoomed out. I feel like I'm in the rafters watching the game. I'm not part of the game, because you can't notice the rafters if you're in the game.
Right.
But you notice everything that's happening in the game from the rafters.
Yeah.
So when I'm out by myself, that's how I like to move. You know, I like to feel like I'm not noticed, because I want to be able to notice everything in the process. Okay. And so I started shaping my tongue towards, you know, rappers only that I didn't like.
Okay.
And I used to, man, and it would come. There's an interesting tell, man. There's only a few that know about it too. When I was about 16, 17, I pinned a diss verse. I needed targets, man.
Yeah.
I need targets. I pinned a diss towards Third Degree out of San Antonio.
Okay.
Talented brothers too, man.
Yeah.
I don't even know why I did it, man. I was young, 15, 16, 17.
Feeling yourself.
And I'm like, man, you know, you want to climb the ladder, man.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm not gonna target someone I feel like can beat.
I was gonna say, you always want to shoot for someone that
talented
you know.
Brothers, man.
There's a little danger there.
Because there's some talented brothers over there, and somehow, somewhere, in my $10 Walmart mic and Cool Edit Pro, nasty mastered, you know, this 2-track version of this diss on the Nas Hate Me Now beat. And they got in their hands, and they caught wind of it. This is like right when P2P file sharing was available. So they got it. They got it. You know, it took 10 minutes to send one song, but they got it.
Which was quick back then.
And they didn't like. I just remember they didn't like it, and they came down for a show, and then I heard my name mentioned, like that. Oh, that's true. I'm like, oh, there's like 12 of them, man. Like me and my homeboy Marcus, man, and no, they were cool. At the end of the day, they were cool, man.
Did y'all throw some rounds or no?
Nah, man, they were there for a show.
Okay.
You know, and I was popping up to show love for the show, and just water under the bridge. They knew what it was, man. They knew I was whack at the time, just, you know, trying to reach to the top, trying to take some shortcuts by, you know, throwing some rocks at, you know, some credible people in the scene at that time.
Yeah.
Like, same thing. My first original name was Ace.
Okay.
ACE. And that was titled because I was trying to be a better freestyler than the Freestyle Kings. So Freestyle Kings were popping, and I'm like, you know what? What better way to push yourself than to put a title on your back? Like, you put a target on your back by saying Ace when everyone's bumping Kings. And I had to sharpen the pen. I had to sharpen the tongue. And I wasn't afraid of the work. I'm always down to put in the work. And
so what was your first like actual like sign up on a list battle? Do you remember?
Man, I remember the beach having some battles.
Or do you have any that like do stick out that are like, yo, there was this one right here? Any anything like that?
The format to be what it was until Gulf Wars.
Okay.
It wasn't until, because I think Texas Battle League had come down.
Right.
And Michael White had battled a man named Stats.
Okay.
Stats is from Boston.
Shout out to Michael White.
He had, Stats to me had like such an ill delivery. Like I always looked at Cool G rap style delivery, the way he was formulating stuff. And I remember he was just talking loud after he beat Mike. And I told Mark, I said, I need him. I need to battle him. Because
Styles
Gulf Wars
make
1 was already in discussions. And one thing about Gulf Wars 1 is not every battle that happened came out on video. Some of the footage, one of the best battles of all time was, I think, Loudmouth and K9. Back and forth, slugfest, rocking the whole venue. And it was right there, man. And man, that night was incredible. Shout out DJ Devious. He was there. Everybody who was either part of the scene, wanted to be involved in the scene, or was trying to see what the new scene was about, they were there. Yeah. Everybody was in attendance. There's a shot on the intro of the Gulf Wars 1 video where you see everybody in that crowd. Yeah. And man, that's a legendary night. There was a lot of key people in there.
That's cool, man.
Shout out Magnus too.
Shout out Magnus. Shout out Almighty Public Zoo.
Man, Johnny Moog. We have Fang.
So that was like, where was the first time you actually, like, I don't want to take it back and we'll move on, I promise, but I love the subject. Where was the first time you saw like all four elements where they actually had a label like, yo, this is hip hop? Do you have that experience? I mean, I feel like a lot of people do. It sounds like you kind of just grew up and this is what it was. And you're like,
I have to research what I'm going to be a part of.
Okay.
I don't want to be a part of anything without, knowing what I'm getting into. And so with hip hop, I remember seeing KRS-One, and like at a very young age, not even rapping. He was hosting.
Okay.
And I never heard any of his raps before. But for some reason, I kept saying, like, when I think of hip hop, this guy emulates exactly what I think of hip hop. Strong with his words, powerful voice, message behind everything, stature. Like, this is hip hop. Like, this is strength in hip hop right here. And then when I went to go listen to his first albums, Criminal Minded, and I'm hearing all this, and then in the libraries, I'm looking up what's hip hop. I see names like Kool Herc, Grandmaster Flash. I'm seeing Theodore, Funky 4+1 More. I'm seeing all these, and then I'm seeing New York City Breakers, Rocksteady Crew. I started seeing that, and then once you see it, it's like once you're exposed to it, the universe now is going to re-expose it to you in different ways. Yeah. So it's like once I saw that, a week later, now Beat Street's on, and it's the breaking scene in Roxy. Yeah, and you're trying to find a tape. I'm right in the closet yelling, "Can I get it? Where's the tape? I need room on a tape to record this." Yeah, it's on TV, and so you just start connecting it. They're rapping, they dance like this to this music, and you put it all together. There wasn't like one event. Okay. But for like emceeing, for like battling, Blaze battles, the ones that Idea took care of. I think KRS-One hosted that one, and then finding on like the first message boards of all time, like finding
the forums days,
Scribble Jam battles, and the DJ battles, and the breakdancing battles there, and. It just felt like a cult classic in the making that I need to be a part of. For sure. Something's making me want to be a part of this more than anything else.
So let me ask you this: because you travel now, when you started traveling, was this this isn't hip hop related, right? That's something you do with work. Did I get that right? Right. And I feel like that's kind of where like yours and I experience differ. But when you did start traveling, you were already an artist. Did you ever travel as an artist or for the art? Did you ever take any trips like outside of Corpus?
Never.
No. Never. Okay.
Bills to pay.
I mean, I hear you.
It would be hella convenient if what you're passionate about pays your bills, but that's not the life for most of us.
And you know what? A lot of the realness I've learned, like in hip hop, like it doesn't. Yeah, especially when you're not willing to cross certain lines or wear a certain brand. Man, I was listening to your album on the way over here, and your style is like, even though we come from different elements, like I love like that the beat behind it, man. Like that's I love. If you look at all my breaking clips on Instagram, like I love that East Coast feel, man. And I think that's what I liked about you that night that I saw you, was it that style. But yeah, no, I was curious as far as if you ever did get out of Corpus as far as battling, or if you have any you know uh running out of gas on the way to Austin stories or anything like that.
I mean, I've been able to be fortunate enough to do a couple shows in Austin so long ago. I barely even remember what I rapped or what I did when I was over there. In San Antonio, I had done some shows on campus because I graduated from UTSA.
Okay, cool.
And so I was able to do some shows whenever I'd find people who had open mics or spoken words, and I would go there and just drop some bars.
That's actually something I wanted to get into too. So you are a bit of a poet. So I'm curious, who inspires you as an artist, man? Like what rappers? Because I feel like I have a list, and I wonder if any of the guys that I'm thinking of are gonna be on it.
So there's poetry, there's a spoken word stuff that I do, and then there's
Let's talk about
the
that.
MCs.
How long you been doing that?
So the spoken word's always kind of loosely been involved since I was in high school.
Okay.
I'd always loved writing, but the spoken word, it lets me stack multis and rhymes and wordplay in a way that a beat won't allow you to, based off of rhythmic limits.
Yeah.
You know, you have to cut out a few words so for the bar to hit right on the snare. You don't have that. So I look at that as like almost a rawer feel of how my writing can actually get, because much of the album, there's about 4 or 5 verses off this album that are heavily influenced, almost word by word influenced by foreign poems that I've written.
Okay.
And it's just, when I write a spoken word, it's about 7-8 minutes long.
You were writing poetry essentially longer than you've been emceeing, essentially, or is it about the same time?
It's been about the same time. Yeah,
that's cool, man. Like,
because it gave me something to carve raps from.
Nice.
One thing that I wanted to make sure with the album is, I feel like there's a lot of albums now that sonically sound beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever you're playing it sounds amazing. But what's the replay value like? What's the longevity of the actual content that's on there?
Yeah.
Are you creating just 10 songs and calling it an album? Or are you creating 10 chapters to one book, and that's what you call an album?
Right.
And so I wanted to theme this project, and I didn't want to stray away from any of the themes that I made sure to become this nucleus of this project I made.
Who were some? But before we get into,
let's get into influences.
Yeah,
right?
but also I'm gonna ask that same question on the writing side. So who were some of the poets that you've studied, or that who inspires you, man?
Bar none. I think one of the best wordsmiths and just articulate men of all time was Malcolm X.
Okay. Dang.
Malcolm X is, you gotta be sharp, because that's all he knows.
Yeah.
The way he can cut through a tense room, with such precision that he never loses confidence with any way he goes with with the points that he's making. He's high on that list. Gil Scott-Heron.
Man.
That brother right there.
Man.
That brother right there.
Let me talk to you about that. So, and this is something just from my own journey, man. When I started breaking 16, 17 years ago, I was looking up all these Texas b-boys, man, and I found this one dude named Marlon. Shouts to Marlon Lazama if he ends up seeing this clip. But he's a poet and a writer, and it was a video. He's a world famous b-boy from Houston, Texas. Been all over the world, and I was already kind of watching his videos because I loved his style as a b-boy. And there was this one video of him reciting poetry, and I was like, "What is this?" And mind you, at this time, like I'm living, I'm dropped out of school, going to night school for my GED, working. All my friends are in college. Like it's kind of I would say a low point, right? Hip hop's kind of the only positive thing I got going on. And then I find this guy, and I'm like, "What is this poetry stuff?" And mind you, like the early uneducated days, I didn't realize like you can be book smart and street smart. Like you can wear both hats. And seeing him reciting poetry and the way he conducted himself and the way he talked after about education, it changed the game for me, man. And it was from that point on, I started taking school serious. I ended up, this isn't about me, but man, I picked up books and I got into reading and poetry. And Gil Scott, like maybe a couple years later, I have his book, man. The revolution will not be televised, man.
Yes. Got to save the children.
Yeah, man.
Powerful figure, powerful man. You hit it with books. Autobiography of Malcolm X was one of the first books I can remember finishing from books that I personally chose to want to read. Remember, school would try to, you got to read Lord of the Flies. You got to read Animal Farm. You got to read, Mice and Men.
Yeah.
They're classics, but let me find my style.
Do you remember, I ask everybody this, do you remember Harrison Bergeron? It was a book. It was like a short story that was in like an English book in like 7th, 8th grade.
Not familiar.
All right. It's off topic. It was a wild story, but keep going.
I was reading those scary stories.
Right. With the goosebumps inside the textbook.
Goosebumps included, man. Yes, man. I had to get my accelerated reader points up, man.
Gotta get that free personal pizza.
You ain't lying about that. Yeah. As far as MCs.
Okay.
Man, okay. This is a tough one. Because
we got time.
My favorites to listen to when I just want to listen to hip hop are not who inspired me.
Okay.
Like for instance, my favorites are like Crazy Bone, Project Pat.
Okay.
Pimp C, Big L, like it's Corrupt. There's a lot of styles in that. But then the ones who like paved the way for my pen, I'm looking at Cool G Rap. Okay. I'm looking at Rakim.
I love Rakim.
Big L again, Lord Finesse, the whole Digging in the Crates crew.
Okay.
I had a moment right there with them. And then Grand Poobah, J. Rue the Damager, Poe Righteous Teachers, Arrested Development, that Soulquarian group, with De La Soul and Tribe Called Quest, and then they started later adopting elements like Pharoah Monch is heavily involved in, Pharoah Trip, Pharoah Monch, like there's no mystery behind it.
Nas on your list?
Nas, for sure. Nas, AZ.
Yeah.
Man, the list
is my favorite MC of all time.
Of course, Nas is on the list, man. The list is extensive.
Going back to the poetry, man. What about I just had his name too. Saul Williams.
Yes, I failed to mention him. He actually ran through my mind as we were talking.
I was wondering.
What's the joint he had? He did it on Def Poetry Jam where he
had
like a scroll.
I was gonna ask about the Def Poetry.
Man, there's some sick bars, man, that still echo in my head from some of his performances.
Yeah.
And he's a brilliant guy.
Man, I used to love that show. Lemon Anderson, he was another one from that show that I would watch. Follow, I had his book.
How can I not mention Mos Def?
Mos Def, yeah.
Mos Def. I before I had the CD, man, that burnt CD, I need like 3 copies, scratching them left and right, man. But Black on Both Sides was getting much play. Black Star getting much play. I think Mos Def's verse on Thieves in the Night and on the Black Star joint is arguably one of the top 10 hip hop verses of all time. The penmanship on that is mind blowing. And that's one thing that I love taking with me overseas.
Okay.
Like finding which students, in schools, because I worked here for 5-6 years roughly before I made the jump.
Okay.
And I made the jump because I just felt the monotony kicking in too soon.
Yeah. So walk us through that. So you do go overseas, and this is for work. Are you free to talk about that at all? Like,
yeah.
You do? Okay. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah, that's all good. It's all good.
Come on in.
So everyone, I feel like, comes across a point in time where they want to make a difference, an impact, bigger than what's just happening in their home, but they want to feel impactful towards other people. The simplest route for me doing that, having my bachelor's in philosophy, always, scoping the field is, how can I attribute some of my experiences that I've gone through already and help out younger generations? It's like a mechanic, right?
Yeah.
All these young minds are coming to you a bit flawed because the world we're living in is a flawed one. So it's raw ingredients coming to, and a mechanic just does some fine tuning so that when you leave the mechanic shop, you're riding much smoother, you're thinking much clearer. And that's why I like to treat the 10 months in the classroom and I'm doing it through the vehicles of math and science mainly.
Cool.
And so I was teaching 5th grade for the longest here for just math and science over at West Oso my last couple of years when I was here. And just life itself. The world it's not really a big place.
That's fair.
It's not really a big place once you leave. But I had to check it out. I need to see what it was about. I felt
what was the first stamp that you put on that passport, man?
It was China.
China, okay.
It was China. I literally finished 5th grade in June, and in 3 weeks arrived in Beijing.
Okay.
Raw.
Walk us through that.
And I never traveled outside of. I've never had a passport before then.
Yeah.
And so I was just ready for change. I was ready for the challenge. I'd always felt like I had a global perspective, as far as like a natural filter in my head of considering how things were, because America is relatively young as a country, very young. And there's soups in the Mediterranean area that predate America.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they got foods that are older than America. And so there's a lot of hidden chambers out there.
So how does that work? Do you know like more or less where you're going, where you're gonna be staying?
So yeah, there's a few online sites that allow certified teachers such as myself to upload their resume and be able to log in for a fair price. And what it does is they serve as a middleman. Okay. And all they do is provide links of available places that are looking for this, or this. You can filter out your searches. So I applied to about 20 countries. China's the one that responded back with the best offer. Okay. When they told me they're going to pay my rent. They're going to pay me more salary than what I was getting here. Plus they're paying my rent. Nice. And it's not coming out the check. It's as a stipend. That's enticing. And I took that leap. And
what were some of the things you got to experience?
Probably the greatest decision I ever made, man. Oh, but it's odd because we always build up a world in our head that isn't realistic to the world that we end up living.
How so?
I'm looking at China like, oh my, like I'm going to China, like I'm nervous, like knees weak, arms are heavy.
Yeah.
And you're walking through the airport, you don't have no service on your phone. Yeah. You're in a whole new continent. So you pretty much have no phone. You're by yourself. Your language means nothing there.
Yeah. I was going to ask, how do you navigate the language barrier?
You just have to.
You just got to make it happen.
You just have to stay calm, man. You're going to think better the calmer you stay.
For sure.
And so, are you the dumbest person in the airport? With that many people, if you don't feel like you're the dumbest person in the airport, then you're going to figure out how to get out the airport just fine. Like, that's what I'm saying. Everybody's going to get out.
What's going on, y'all? Just jumping in. I heard y'all's conversation. I was like, damn, I got to get in.
Get in on it, man. It's
pretty cool.
I ended up, people came up to me immediately. They thought I was somebody.
We wouldn't have that problem.
I'm getting approached and they're doing that little arch and look like, is that the guy?
Were you wearing a jersey or what?
Man, I was Adidas sweatpants. I had some Kobe's on. I looked the part.
Yeah.
And I had a few people help me out. And I got hot spotted onto some service.
Signed some autographs. Gotcha.
I got picked up, man. But I have, so China was the first stop, and I stayed there for a little more than 2 years.
Was there any students that stuck out, like any ones that you're like, that kid's gonna,
All of them.
All of them.
The school I was working at, the student population for my area was 99% Chinese. Okay. Well, 99.9, I'll say.
China and
they
nasty people.
The way they could just flip the switch with learning, from joking to being silly to we're reviewing, and it's just
game time.
They're ready to take. Nobody's talking, and it's that type of environment where if someone's talking, they're shutting them up for you.
Oh,
so I love that as a teacher. Yeah. Like, because this matters. They gotta deliver these results to their parents who are paying this much money to have them at this school to get a foreign teacher to teach them. Oh man.
You teach the same stuff here that you do over there?
No. So actually, the least amount of my teaching experience was here because it's so strict on like, for instance, I'm certified grades 4 through 6, all subjects, all core subjects. I chose math and science because I think they're the best subjects. They're easier to have the most fun with if you do them right. And they also mean something at the end of the year because they're tested.
English or
Right,
history or something.
right. And I think they're translatable subjects wherever you go.
That's fair.
They matter. And so when I went to China, they pegged me at an English training school, and I got out of it. And then I ended up working at a high school. And I had never taught algebra 2 honors, chemistry 2 honors, biology 2 honors. This is a big step up from 5th grade West Coast. So, you know, I'm now in Beijing, the capital of China, you know, teaching kids who are expected to be something in life.
How much of that was like learning as you go yourself?
80% of teaching is how well you host the information.
Okay.
So a good host can always get by any lesson.
That's fair.
If I need to stall, I can have them research things and come
coming
up.
from our world.
Do you feel like you need to know the subject like all the way, or just a little
Always
bit?
helps.
Oh, okay.
Always
well, that
helps.
makes sense.
But you don't need to, but it always helps. I didn't have time to learn algebra 2, chemistry, and biology.
Right.
In one school year.
Yeah.
But I have time. Shout out to the brothers over there. But I had time on my taxi. I had 30 minutes every day to get up there. So I'm going to learn algebra 2 right here. Okay. My first period was an off period. So I'm going to learn chemistry and biology right there. And so I had, you know, set moments. And I did it the same day because I didn't want to lose any information overnight. I want to keep it fresh if I'm going to teach it. And I had students, like as I check for understanding, I always have students, you know, model their work, doing their own presentations, doing things like a business world we'll want them to do. You know, we'll set it up, you know, business-like. I give everybody surveys on what they felt they could have improved from it. And, you know, anonymous surveys. It was very respectful, very honest, very open. And they end up teaching you a lot more about the subject as well when you allow their voices to be heard. You know, you don't know everything.
That's fair.
Obviously, I don't, because I never even taught it before.
Yeah.
But I know I have the ability to teach chemistry. And since that time, what I learned, so after I left China, I ended up in Thailand teaching middle school.
Coming back to the States.
Yeah, I was the department head for middle school science.
Okay.
And my 6th graders in there were learning chemistry by the end of the year.
It's amazing.
Man.
Because we went online. So I got to Thailand in 2020 when COVID kicked off. Okay. And we had to go to online. By the end of the year, when we had to do online lessons, we'd already finished out the entire curriculum. And so our mandatory hours sessions online, I had them doing chemistry work. And I just kept telling them, finish it and go back to your parents. Go let them know. Go let them know what we just did. And they're counting atoms. They're counting. Wow. They're able to balance equations. And that's what I mean by the hosting of it. Yeah. I'm not there to act like I'm smarter than them. Right. I'm there to introduce some things in a way that I feel like no one else is introducing it like. Like with math, for instance, I say the biggest number you're ever going to deal with is 9.
Wow.
That's literally the biggest number you need to ever execute, 9. Because let's say you have 91 times 91. Well, that 9 times 9 is going to be the hardest part of it. Okay. Everything is single digit calculation.
Okay.
So the rudimental portion, or I guess of that whatever, like mathematics, for instance, is just 0 through 9. As are the basics of math itself. Right.
0 through 9 has created an unlimited scope of the depth of mathematics. Okay. And to me, it's fascinating, but at the same time, get your 1 through 9s down every way you can. Know how to divide by 9, no matter what the number. You know, and I in my head, I'm looking at it like tool sizes. Like if you're going to use the 9 drill bit, it's going to make, if you're dividing, you're going to cut out this much each time, you know. Doesn't matter how big it is. If you're using this bit, it's going to be more numbers because it's a smaller bit. I have a million analogies I love tossing to students just to let them find their way. Because I never found a teacher that taught me a way that stuck to me. I had to figure it out myself.
Does your stage presence, like, do you think it helps being a teacher and being able to deliver things like this?
Yeah, because I roast them all the time. Like, I'm going at them, man. I'm going at them. Like,
did you start roasting people? Like, is that how or... You know what I'm saying?
I reinforce our objectives in a rather entertaining way while exposing the benefits and advantages that you have that I didn't have. I'm just like, you know, I have to give them, you know, it's just little things. I mean, you mean to tell me like you're hot, you're bothered, you know, this is bothering you. You can't do your math. Meanwhile, you got air conditioning. Meanwhile, you got Wi-Fi. Meanwhile, you got a PlayStation at home. Crazy. Meanwhile, you get 3 recess breaks in the day. Meanwhile, your parents are getting delivered food for you for lunch that doesn't come from their kitchen. It's coming from this restaurant over here. because I'm getting these kids, you know, that they're paying $15,000 a year to go to these schools.
Right.
So I'm getting these kids. I mean, kids that have never been told no before.
Oh, yeah.
And then they meet me. I'm Mr. No.
Yeah.
You better look
That's good though,
convincing,
man, because the world's gonna tell them no.
Yeah, and I just remind them, like, you have all these head starts and advantages, but somehow you let me lap you. Because at that age, I could tell you what I was doing. And you know what? You may pay your way to get ahead, but when it comes to actual manual work, if all this shuts down, I'm needed way more than you because my skills show that. You should never allow yourself to not have the skills, because people are willing to pay for skills.
Yeah.
So equip yourself with enough skills that people are willing to pay for at the end of the day.
Facts.
Because daddy's money will run out one day.
Dang.
Facts. Man, that's cool. So you said China and then Taiwan?
Thailand.
Thailand, that's right.
Thailand that's a crazy place.
Man, so what was next?
Crazy place, man. Hold on, let's gloss over Thailand a little bit. I was in Pattaya, Thailand, and it's one of the last spots that have been pretty much renovated by tourism.
Okay.
It's known mainly for walking street, super huge red light district. And man, entertainment there is wild. I mean, you get some of your who's who's. I was doing a basketball tournament, and they flew us over to Vietnam for the weekend to go be part of this tournament. And on the plane ride back, some of my athletes, they noticed this. They said it was an artist. And he said, "You've played them in class," because I always play music in class. Yo, man, the only thing that's quiet are jail cells and padded rooms. Don't turn a classroom into one of those. Because I already got theories of how the education system has been monitoring, the prison system. Some of our schools even look like it from afar. Show somebody like Tom Brown. Take Tom Brown. Just do a quick scan, send it to somebody who doesn't live in this country, and tell them, what is this? And they're going to say a penitentiary.
Wow.
Or if you look at all the new designs of all of the schools locally, it's all
the principal's award and teachers, correctional officer. You get an hour of rec time.
How do you feel about homeschool? How do you feel about like homeschooling kids?
I'm more in favor of it the more I live. Because I'm aware of, like, my teaching. I've literally taught every grade, every level. And I feel comfortable being able to not only teach my kids, but a lot of it's having the time to be able to do that too.
Yeah,
it's tough. But there's also life missions I want to do. I don't want to teach algebra to somebody and it's just paper algebra.
Right.
Now let's go to the store. Here's $20. Show me 3 ways that you can buy these items, or how much of each of these items. Give me 3 different scenarios that make it work, because that's algebra. And be able to now translate that into a script and have them see how that script represents what they just went through, because the test is learning the script, and not everybody knows the script.
I don't.
It's that's where I think it's tricky.
I did all 3, man. I did homeschool, public school, and private school. And people always ask, like, what I liked better. I think what I liked better didn't line up with what was best for me. If I'm being honest, I would say private school probably would have been the best option. We couldn't afford to keep doing that, I liked homeschooling, but I missed the public aspect of public.
But the survival of public school.
Yeah.
You learn, well, especially how we went through it. Because there was no knowing everybody.
Going back to public school, man.
There was no knowing everybody.
Yeah.
Now social media has connected everyone. You have the whole classroom is following each other. That didn't exist in our day. No. You only talked to maybe one person if you got lucky to have a friend in that class.
Yeah.
And you had to make friends, and you're looking around like, I already don't like that person. Like, and you're
I'm not even allowed to sit near that person at lunch.
But your inner monologue is speaking to you, and you're finding out your insecurities.
That's actually, man, one of the questions I had for you too is growing up in your times and our times. I was, like I said, I'm only a few years behind you. How do you think it compares to now, like kids growing up today?
Scarier here.
Oh, I bet.
Scarier here. So I say that because let me jump ahead a little bit. I most recently came back from Greece.
Okay.
And so where I was living in Kypseli, and it's well known area in Greece, just above the city center, and some real residential areas. But every time I'd arrive home and walk out to go get food at a restaurant, La Taverna, the kids are out. Everyone's playing. The moms are out, the dads are out, the kids are out.
Yeah.
You see the young kids, kicking the ball around, setting up their own goals and whatnot. You see the older kids already grouped up, like looking across at the section. The girls are looking at the boys. They're figuring out how they're gonna break that ice.
Yeah.
You see
Cool.
You see life happening.
You see the other youths that are like hiding in the alleyway, smoking their little cigarettes they stole from their mama's purse. I was feeling like it's 90s, in a way. Like some of the last images I remember seeing in certain areas of just being outside. You don't live inside.
And not being afraid of what's coming.
And you go home for protection, comfort, rest.
Right.
Because of what's outside. But if the neighborhood is taking care of itself and watching itself like that, there's no place you'd rather be than outside.
Have you always been like an observant person?
I've always felt that way. I've always felt that.
Is there like a moment that like, or that's just how you are,
What opened my eyes the most, I'd say, especially on a global scale, is in 1996. My parents had already been trying to raffle off and win Atlanta tickets for the Olympics in 1996. And after like a year of being in these raffles, they showed us what we had gotten from it. And we had a bundle of tickets, including the Dream Team 3 that was up there, and the women's Dream Team as well. Lacrosse event. So, I mean, we're going, but we're not flying. We're taking a van. Taking a van. So I begged my parents to give me like a little, like almost like a 5x5 box black and white TV that had the connections for my Super Nintendo. And the two games I rinsed the most, of course, Mario Kart. You got to do it at 50, 100, 150 class, old school style. And King Griffey Jr. baseball. Because you can do home run derbies, everything, man. And so I rinsed those. We got there. But when we got there, I'd never seen that many cultures in one place, hearing that many type of accents and languages, all there for one purpose. And it's almost like I got the world under one umbrella. Before I even got to middle school.
That's cool.
I got to experience about a week and a half of that. And to that point, I don't think I'd ever been out of Texas.
Okay.
So that was a big moment. And you're traveling through the backwoods of Louisiana, Mississippi, and this is this is why I'm like, wait, don't they got a movie like Mississippi Burning? Like I'm 9, when you used to open up the newspaper to see, what's showing and some of the TV ads.
Like, the houses look different, the trees look different, the layout, the landscape looks different, the people talk different.
And I always like to use that as symbolisms of the current status of where the generations being the way they're now allowed to think. It's almost dulling it. It's losing its vibrancy, and you don't think I think that's dangerous.
You don't think that's the phones and social media has a lot to do with that?
No, for sure. Shorter attention spans. A short attention span will rely on more resources for entertainment. And so the more resources you're allowing yourself to be distracted by, the more influence you're allowing to be puppeteered by. And there's not many people thinking for themselves anymore. Some people are so caught up that they don't even know they're caught up. And they're the most dangerous ones. Those are the most dangerous ones. I take no place in politics. I take no place in religion. I take no place in anything that I felt like has already been manipulated more times than days I've been on Earth.
That's fair.
And so I'd rather take a step away, especially when I see the reactions that come of people when they're debating or going about things that way. It gets very violent very fast, and not all violence is the same violence.
You can't help but notice, and I think even when we were talking about on the Public Zoo episode with like the kids battling, like coming from a generation where we had to go and make friends without devices, where we had to. Your words, there was consequences. Yeah, we had free speech in the playground, but free speech could end up getting punched in the face.
I was just saying that, man. Look,
and so when you come up like that and you go to a battle, whether it's breakdancing or emceeing, like, like I'm fine after this. Like I'll take an L because you know what I mean. Like it's in the scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. Whether the odds were in my favor or not, You know what I mean?
Right. And you touched on something. I don't feel like free exists. I don't feel like freedom. I think it's more an illusion. It's not a solution. It's not a realistic place to get. I have it as a step above the word hope. Okay. The mindset of being free, that's something that should be of relaxation and bliss almost. And I feel like if you say we're in the land of the free, no, we're just in a place so big that we don't even know how far the fences stretch, but they're there.
Wow.
That was real.
You know, they're there. Look at recent events, you know, what freedom of speech gets you. Like I said, there's people that find those fences and then they want to stand on them, and hey, don't, you know, you can't have it both ways. You know, words are weapons.
100%.
And how do you think religious battles get started? Yeah. So if you want to try to justify one thing or justify another thing, you know, everything has consequences. Yeah. You know, and even to a deaf person, you know, they'll feel the energy. There's still the energy behind it. Yeah. You know,
I have a friend of mine who's deaf. He breaks with me here and there. He's one of the most annoying. Nah, I'm just kidding. Angel, I love you, man. If you see this, everybody get there, bro.
So let's go back to leaving Thailand.
Okay. Yeah.
Everything shut down.
Yeah.
We have 6 p.m. curfew. They shut down the beaches. They shut down alcohol. They shut down bars. They shut down everything. 6 p.m. Everyone's home. I'm 2 minutes walk from the beach. I can't even go there. You know, they got it like.
I was gonna say, and they're policing this.
Yeah, it's policed, and I got to get out.
Talk about not being free. Wow.
So I ended up getting a flight in June. I got a flight to Qatar, from Bangkok to Qatar. Okay. It was an 8-hour flight, and there was only 3 people on the international flight. And I was one of the 3.
Oh man, my legs.
And I don't like flying already. So I just asked for some whiskey, well, the whole bottle. You know, what am I gonna do? I'll go to sleep quicker. And I ended up in Qatar, and from Qatar I flew 16 hours to Chicago.
Holy smoke!
And then I'm already seeing how COVID is being treated in Thailand. Now in Qatar, now in Chicago. Wow. And then, of course, in America, we have 50 different, you know, ways of behavior due to 50 different states. And so Chicago, when I came down to Corpus, that's when I stayed some time down here. I mean, nobody knew what the hell was going on at that point. And oddly enough, after enough time, it's time to go back to work. I got to get back to work. I gotta get out of here. I've caught up with everybody. And I ended up taking a job in 2021, and I flew there in September, and it was in St. Petersburg, Russia.
Nice.
I went from Thailand to Russia, and you know, someone who has come up, you know, with the ears, you know, I hear the news. For 2 of my first 3 countries of living in to be China and Russia. But what I love about it is China doesn't think I'm American. Thailand doesn't think I'm American.
Wow, it's crazy.
Russia doesn't think I'm American. I'm not the identity of America.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm being called Brazilian. I'm being called exotic, Egyptian.
Hey,
I'm like, oh,
hey, how did you get your name? I guess your MC name.
So Trip is
Pharaoh, right? It's
Pharaoh Trip.
Trip.
So the Pharaoh Trip came from, you know, me just deep diving into ancient Egypt and, you know, discovering just a whole lot of truths at a certain layer that gave me confidence that there's more to be seen. Like this earth has a lot more to be seen, and this is just one example of possibly dozens, you know, different sites. Trip is short for triple. So my real name's Marcel. Okay. But my father's name is Marcel, and my grandfather's Marcel. So I'm the third. So in the household, Marcel is my father. Trip, it was just a shorter version of the third, triple.
That's cool.
And so my parents always called me Trip. I've never heard them ever call me Marcel. So that's just naturally been my name.
Are your what's the nationality of your folks, if you don't mind?
So my mom's from Robstown, Texas.
Yay!
Shout out Cotton Pickers.
Come on, bro.
Shout out Cotton Pickers. I see the videos.
Come on, dog.
I'm like, no, my mom picked cotton. You know, my aunts picked, my uncles picked cotton. You know, that's the reality. That was the best job available for people there for a long time. And my father was from original Hillcrest, North Side.
Okay.
Wow.
And so he came, my father was born in 52, my mother's born in 55.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about the crossroads that it took for a Mexican woman coming out of Robstown and a black guy out Hillcrest.
Oh, wow.
How did that go over when they met and when they told their parents?
Mm.
Because that's real too.
Yeah.
You know, they almost crossed the tracks to meet, you know, because a lot of people don't even know what that means.
You're not supposed to cross the
track.
track. Yeah,
a lot of people don't even know what crossing the tracks mean. And they had to really work that out together. You know, pretty much two underdogs that found victory.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and everything they've done is everything they worked for in life provided me for a platform where I'm able to see what I'm able to see right now.
Nice.
Hey,
That's the strength of them.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on the Hillcrest? I guess because they got the decel and all that stuff going on, and people were saying they're pushing them out or whatever. I don't know the whole story myself. Since did you spend time in Hillcrest as a kid? Or?
No. So my father had already moved out. They'd already gotten out. It's just one of those natural things where, you know, your father doesn't want you to repeat the life that you just came out of.
Right.
You know, he'd rather take chances elsewhere. And my mother was the same way. And so they met mutually on that, decided to, you know, put me, I guess, in a growing area of the city. And it worked out, real well.
The original Southside.
So, which is where like
like what are you saying? Like
the original Southside.
I mean,
I always considered it where the Southside baseball field is. Like
Cabinets?
Okay. You know what I mean?
See, I'm closer to Cabinets.
Okay.
I'm closer in that area, but I guess I'm more on the eastern part, on the south. Oh man, you just touched up on something. I'm slipping my train of thought right now.
Was it about the Hillcrest community?
Oh man, the new bridge.
Yeah.
What's the deal with like? Okay, you push all these people out, right? And you're gonna name the bridge what, the New Harbor? You're gonna name it starting with the letter H.
Oh, you got it started, bro. Or did I? I've got it started. I got it started.
So the letter H, we could have used to just call it Hillcrest Bridge.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I was listening to a Creon's podcast. You know Creon Martin, right?
No.
It's called the Man Look podcast. Anyway, he was talking to somebody from Hillcrest that Elliot Grant was a guy from the Hillcrest community, and they named Elliot Grant, I guess, on the south side. They gave it to one of them schools over there. I was like, well,
shout out to Mayor John Wimbish. That's my guy, John Wimbish, holding it down over there.
Yeah, but that was interesting that you were talking about, like, just naming it the Hillcrest Bridge. It's right there.
I mean, there's small acts that will let people at least know that you notice some part of their struggle with having to transition out of where they grew up.
Yeah.
You know, that's we see it often in history. And if you want to hear more about that, American Autopsy talks all about having to be picked up, gentrified, moved out. It's a cycle, and
it's a real thing.
And it's a color-coded cycle.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's a color-coded cycle.
So you have a lot of that in your music and stuff like that, right? Yeah, I was listening.
A lot of irony, because I think irony and hypocrisy sleep together. So it's ironic you say this, but you do this.
Yeah.
Doesn't that make you a hypocrite? So they definitely sleep together, and I love
crazy,
my writing style loves to find pockets of irony.
That's the poet in you.
And a lot of my students always come out and they have things they want to ask about America and everything. I got to give them sharp vagueness. For instance, I have a bar where I say, if it can be fixed and it's not fixed, well, guess what? They don't want it fixed. So if you find a solution that's pretty sound, and it's Occam's razor, the room agrees on it, but somehow
it's not gonna work. They're not gonna put it into practice.
They don't care about it. They want you to spend your time talking about that.
Yeah.
You know, because it gives more attention to what they need.
Yeah.
You know, their pockets feed off of attention, commitment, showing that you're still raising your pom poms when they're on screen. You know, it's deep, man, and that's one thing I love seeing overseas. Like, so when I got to Russia, 2021. So what happened in February 2022? The invasion of Ukraine. I was over there when that popped off.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, our head teacher, our principal, and like 6-7 members of staff like jetted overnight. Didn't even think twice. Didn't tell nobody. We didn't know until we showed up to work.
Yeah.
Understaffed, and then embassies are leaving left and right, which means those kids have to leave too.
Yeah.
And those kids have been friends with these kids, and I'm seeing friendships split because of war.
Yeah.
You know, these are I will say intentional acts. There's no unintentional acts when you send missiles.
Yeah.
or when you're targeting, areas that aren't bases, you go into residential areas, and that goes for anybody.
Yeah.
Man, there's a lot of social, emotional healing that needs to be done, and that's where I feel like your duty as a teacher is suited. It's not when class is perfect. It's when real life is happening, and these kids still rely on you for 6 hours of the day. They need to hear something that can stick, and so all I did was just try to give them things that can stick in life. I pretty much threw out the curriculum.
Yeah.
And I said, what do we need to do right now? So like when we had English classes, a lot of it was them voicing out, personal frustrations and venting about, what's currently going on. Because we can't be loud about it.
Yeah.
But we can pin things down. We can author it. We can keep it to ourselves, treat it like a class diary.
Do you consider that like a way of teaching them, like, I guess, hip hop?
Everything is hip hop, man. Everything. Everything,
I'm
man.
starting to think that because I've been having you guys on and stuff like that. I'm like, man, is what I'm doing hip hop? You know what I mean?
So hip hop is the soul food of music because soul food came from the scraps.
Right.
Hip hop was born out the scraps.
Right.
Wow.
It found itself and it created a generation. And what we're seeing is a generation that now is representing itself with the elements of it having to find itself. There is no father of hip hop. There's a birth of hip hop.
Right.
And there's a bunch of influences. There's a lot of ingredients that go into it. But when we're talking about like the nature of it, no, it's not like blues.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The blues goes back to an instrument, which goes back, to ancient times in the world.
How do you figure with there being 4 elements?
Well, because hip hop, the energy in hip hop was rooted more on I'm gonna prove you right, or it's the have-nots. This is all I got.
Yeah.
For instance, when you bomb a train,
Right.
for the first time, all white train, no one's done that, and put on your goggles of a 13-year-old kid in like 1980 who bombed his first train. Who's not excelling at school, probably coming from a broken home, on the street more hours in the day than he needs to be. And he sees his piece ride by knowing that the whole city sees his piece.
Right.
Like that little spark of like that's hip hop. That you now felt seen.
Yeah.
Your story felt seen. Yeah. There's pain behind the words. There's struggle in the progress.
So this is something that I wanted to kind of dive on. It kind of brings up a good point. So that feeling, right? I feel like from my own journey, man, I was chasing the scene and a status and the game, you know what I mean? And getting to various points where you're almost like too hip hop or too different, you know what I mean?
Like commercialized hip hop. Would you say that?
Like you too much of a purist, I would say. You know what I mean? Like if you didn't do hip hop my way, like, and this is early years after many books, and this, like, books will do this to you for a little bit. Like they'll flame the ego, like you said earlier. The homeboy reads one book and then he wants to go and torch food. Like coming from that side of things, how do you negate like your experiences coming back to your local hater, you know what I mean, and not having some kind of ego trip about it, And I feel like this is something that, like, now in my older age, I've gotten a better grip on. I'm a man of faith, so I attested to that. But it is something that I feel like a lot of us, like, who do get out and do experience these things, like, that we wrestle with, you know what I mean? Because as much as you always have like your core people who are supporting you here, but then you got those ones that are like,
yeah.
So does that make sense? Like
it does. I personally can't knock anything that I don't participate in.
Okay.
And that deals with hip hop too.
Right.
I don't take part in drill rap. I don't listen to it. Right. I don't have an opinion on it.
Right.
If you play in the room right now, I have a choice to not be in the room if I don't want to hear it.
Right.
I'm not going to protest. Too many people want to just stand their ground and protest something immediately to feel heard. No, you're annoying.
Right.
You're going to make me want to be around you less.
Yeah.
There comes a time, and I felt like certain experiences will do it to you, like you Yoda out.
Okay.
You just hit a level to where if somebody's upset with me or frustrated with me, they clearly don't even know who I am.
Right.
Because everybody I've had a chance to sit down with, talk with, build with, eat with, we're all good still.
Right.
No matter what areas in life they chose to take after that, they know that there was always peace when we were around each other.
Right.
Like I don't go around the world making enemies. They're already naturally there. I don't need to make more to make my job harder. You know, they're already going to be there. And so if anybody, you know, has an opinion, maybe it's just not their time yet. You know, it's not everybody's time to understand the words that you speak. Right. You know, there was a point in time where I would have been annoyed with myself with this album. I don't want to hear that. Like, but now I'm at that point in my life where, you know, I feel, you know, this is essential. It's what the soil needs, you know, to grow.
Yeah, no, I guess I was getting at like more chasing. I think for a while, and this is just from my own journey, man, like I had this notion of what I wanted to look like and sound like and be like and break like and think like, and you know what I mean? And then when you finally get that day, it get to a level where I wouldn't say if I ever fully achieved it, but you get to a certain level where you're there, and that's cool. You got what you wanted. It's not. Yeah, I don't know. You're still not satisfied with who you are.
With writing, yes.
Okay.
100% with writing. Beat making, all beat makers, we all think we're the best. You know, we think we're the coldest. You know, you didn't hear it in my, you know, my JBL. I heard it that night. You know,
B-boys with practices, like we're always the best B-boy in practice.
For sure, man.
Yeah, man.
But with writing, I feel that way heavy with the writing. I'm so meticulous with the writing. I love hearing somebody say, this guy's nice, because it makes me want to now scope it. See, like to my scale, is he nice? One of the first artists I felt like that about was Lupe Fiasco.
Ooh.
Because
I was just talking to my church brother about that guy.
So Lupe Fiasco, let me backtrack it a bit. At UTSA one weekend at Stubbs, Roots were having a show. And so me and my homeboy PJ, shout out PJ, we got tickets to go see the Roots. We show up, and we didn't know that Jean Grey was also on the undercard, and that Pharoah Monch was on the undercard. Yeah. But they were introducing this young brother to the world, and you know he goes on stage, and long story short, it's Lupe.
Oh,
he hadn't even dropped the music video yet, but he had the songs done, and I mean he was a talented guy, but just friendliest guy in the world, right? Like he's a young kid, like on stage, and I'm already looking at him with lasers in my eyes. Like, if he calls someone to battle, I'm running on the stage, man. I'm ready. I'm just ready for attack. You know, especially when it comes with the pen, wordplay, everything. I can't be boy like that no more. I'll battle a kid in class. I'll style.
You just won the zoo. What is it? The rap battle, right? That's cool. Congrats, man.
Shout out to Zoo.
The producer wanted to know if you had to learn Mandarin.
Now you just learn, man. You learn a lot of phrases on the go. I can't read or write Mandarin, but there's plenty of phrases that you just learn on the go. And I need you and something like have a good day, I believe, or. Man, I'm a little rusty with that.
Talking about what was it, Lupe Fiasco?
Yeah.
It made me think like just you talking. Like, do you feel like you're a competitive person?
Oh, for sure. But I don't show it. I don't show it.
I'm the same.
I don't like to show my cards.
Thank you.
Because a bluffing deck could win. A bluffing deck could win the pot.
What'd you say?
I said a bluffing deck could win a pot. So you don't know what I got, but I know I'm working with some aces. Yeah. Remember my first name. Dealing with an ace.
Bring that back.
Pocket aces.
And so, man, that came through sports,
right?
Through competition, constant competition, and that's where you find your grit, how you figure things out. Where now the world becomes applicable because it takes practice to get better. Yeah. So whether you're going to get better with tools or with instruments.
Funny that you say that, man. My wife and her family are extremely competitive, and I mean it could be like Sequence, the card game. It could be
Monopoly, man. I'll split a household.
Man, Sequence is their jam, but it could be basketball, pickleball, whatever the case, man. They are extremely competitive, and this is my personality, man. Like if I'm angry, he's gonna lie and say I yell, but he don't count in the corner. But
I could play a 10-year-old in basketball right now in the back of the school. There ain't no friendly one-on-one.
Nah, but my wife's always like, "You're not competitive," and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, "Man, I'm one of the most competitive people I know. I just don't go about it the way y'all do."
Well, because if
it bugs me, I'm not gonna go out and say it. You know what I mean?
well, if you show your armor, someone's gonna attack.
Like you said,
And I don't always want to leave the house ready to defend myself of attack just because I'm wearing something that's gonna magnetize somebody that wants to challenge me.
100%.
So I'm not gonna go out, being loud and obnoxious 100%. And say I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. No, my confidence lies within.
Yeah,
I don't need to remind
anybody.
anybody.
And when the time comes, we'll prove it. We'll see.
Exactly. And that's what a moment felt like, at the Emcee battle. When I hadn't been in the scene in forever, I now came back, and it was good to make a splash at the pool. That everybody felt, and no better crowd to do it around than the ones that have been supporting me from the beginning.
Right. And
I'm not crew, but we're family.
Facts.
Digging the dreads, bro.
It
took a while to get them there.
Oh man, I get Lenny Kravitz, I get Bob Marley, I get overseas, man. So I used to have the fro, like the photo I submitted, man. I used to have the fro, and that was at the time where every airport I was in, they're thinking I'm Colin Kaepernick.
It's funny, bro.
I couldn't go nowhere. I get Zach De La Rocha when I had more baby dreads. But yeah, so going back to Russia after the Ukraine situation, I ended up getting illegally taxied out on land because the situation with the airport was crazy.
Wow.
They were charging like $5,000 to get out through flying because
they knew
all the European airports were banning Russian planes because of NATO. It was all that. This is a whole other podcast. I can't wait to go in. I got some strong opinions about it. But long story short, I get help getting taxied out, pretty much coyoted out, crossing the border. A few problems at the border when they see my American passport.
Yeah.
But it was nerve-wracking, but I got everything I need. I'm not American, remember? And but the crazy part about it is the guy who got me out, his name was Igor. Shout out Igor. But Igor had, the whole Russian stereotype kid, the kid to the key in a Beamer taking me out. And I paid $500 to get him to do this. So he came from Finland. He came down to pick me up in St. Petersburg.
Dude, how'd you find out about him?
Through a South African that was married to a Russian.
Crazy, bro. That's wild, bro.
I got some good people over there, man. Shout out my South Africans too.
You paid $500 for him to take you.
So he picks me up, we cross and everything. 5 minutes before we get to the border, he pulls over and he goes, I need you to sit in the front. And I'm like, all right. I heard rumors that this was okay. He wants to look like and then as I'm getting my stuff, because my friend, I am very sorry. You don't want to hear sorry in an accent 5 minutes from the border.
Yeah.
He goes, this is very dangerous. And I'm like, yo, like you could have prepped me on this.
You could have, yeah.
If they got trying to figure out how to tell you.
If they got a blood pressure machine here, I'm done.
Yeah.
Let's see how tense I am.
Could have had this conversation at the start.
That's
of the
funny.
And so he goes, oh, everything fine. Because the car had Swedish license plates.
Okay.
And then he showed me a Swedish passport.
Oh.
This guy's not Swedish. He is not Swedish. His name's Igor.
Yeah.
And man, sure enough, his documentation, they let him pass like nothing. Nothing. I'm like, oh, he got it together. I'm looking at our car. They're like stripping the car. They're taking out the seats. They're looking for every type of contraband they can.
Yeah.
They didn't find nothing. We get past. I get past. We take off. And he goes, my friend, I'm not from Sweden. No, Finland. I'm not from Finland. I'm like, I apologize for that mistake. So where are you from? He said, I'm from Ukraine.
Whoa.
My brother, I'm from Ukraine. Ukraine. Oh, it's all funny, man. Like what kind of joke is this, man? So wait, so that's the crazy part. Ukraine refugees moved to Finland because they were offering packages for refugees.
Okay.
They allowed them like instant citizenship.
And he's picking up a
And
side
he picked up a car, Swedish plate, or Finnish plates, and a passport. And he's been taxiing back and forth from Russia, picking up people like me. And he did it. He said he did it 17 times.
Uber right there.
17.
He had done it 17 times.
I mean, that's a good record to have.
Yeah, it's like, Like, I didn't even know what to call it. It was like, the Harriet Tubman of the Slavic region. Like,
So you traveled to where? To
so after I left Russia, I got a job in
so you
Costa
stayed
Rica.
there. Wow.
I got a job in Costa Rica. So I flew over to Costa Rica, stayed there for a year, and then ended up getting a job opportunity in Athens, Greece. And then I jumped over there. But every spot I've been in, though, I find a way to get involved in the scene. I've been involved in the scene somehow, some way, everywhere. I've done open mics everywhere I've been.
Wow.
I've done shows. I hosted hip hop night in Beijing at a club called Hot Cat Club for multiple months. And it came about after I bombed on a comedy open mic night.
No.
Too much whiskey. And, I bombed bad. I liked it. So the manager said he enjoyed my set, and he said he was thinking about, he was playing some Pete Rock and Premier beats.
Okay.
And everybody left, and I was like, can I rap? Is the mic still on? So he said, yeah. So I started freestyling in it.
Didn't bomb that.
Like 15, 20 minutes. Like, we're just freestyling. My homeboy Rupert's right there. And he calls me over, said he wanted me to, he said I looked the part to host hip hop night there.
Wow.
And so he let me do it. And
What's that supposed to mean?
this guy is a Uyghur, the Uyghurs of China. That's so that division of Chinese people, through my understanding, I could be very wrong, but they're more of like a Muslim faith that is completely being eradicated.
Wow.
They're being Gestapo.
Wow.
No questions asked. Take you. You're thrown into camp.
Whoa.
And last I heard, his shop was boarded up. Like it's intense. They don't document it. They don't
Yeah.
talk about it. It's not to be talked about. In China, you get prepped. Every year you get prepped at the same time, not to talk about the 3 Ts. Taiwan, Tiananmen Square, and Tibetan massacres.
Wow.
You can't even search it.
I hope this video doesn't get taken down.
And if you
bro.
talk
That's all
about
I'm
it
saying.
enough, if you talk about it enough in your group chats in China,
Yeah.
you'll get a knock.
Mm,
They'll come
Yeah.
knock on your door, figure out what you're doing.
that's wild.
That's definitely changes your perspective on.
So coming back to America,
Yeah.
especially Corpus, that's why I'm like, I don't have any problems with no one here. I'm here to support the scene. I'm here to just, implement a lot of the
So
thoughts
not-
and ideas that
I feel
I've
like at my
incorporated.
age, like that's kind of where I'm at too, man. Just supporting everybody, and I think you and I kind of met at a dope time. It's been a great conversation with you, man. I'm sure you and I could chop it up for hours.
Oh, for sure, man.
Uh-oh.
We got a lot to talk about.
Oh man, I mean, we only touched on the battling, like nowhere near as much as I wanted to. I wanted to get into your traveling. I wanted to get into the poetry, man. Like a lot of people don't realize how into it I am.
Oh, you're into it also?
Yeah, man, I love poetry. I write it with the goal of doing an open mic one day, but I've
Wow.
never done it. I've always chickened out, and that's because I love speaking in front of people. I've done like public speaking at my old jobs and stuff like that, but just that is it's on the to-do list. Just every time I get close, I chicken out.
Stick to the pocket of your. If I had any advice, stick to the pocket of your delivery.
Okay.
Don't write to a beat, but the pocket of your delivery.
Yeah.
There's certain parts of the bar you want enunciated, but then don't leave that absent when you get to the next bar. No, you just introduce that part, reintroduce it, like you're nailing home a part of it that should be delivered differently.
Yeah.
I would tell people to focus like that because a lot of it goes monotone.
Right.
Because a lot
Some
of
of my favorite
fear
poets,
of
man, are the
speaking.
ones that are animated. You know what I mean? Like the Saul Williams of the world.
Well,
and the
I feel like I'm saying something I should have said a long time ago, and I'm finally getting the time to say it. So I'm like anxious to say it. I'm like, did y'all know? Like, and I just started going on it like that.
So you have to present it to an audience at one point.
I prefer to. I don't write. Everything I write, I plan to speak out about, and that's what helped me shape how I write.
nice.
With the intention of it being seen by multiple people.
I think for me, as much as I would like to, I'm comfortable just having a black book and writing things down. I use being on various platforms, whether it's something like this or speaking in front of people, to get that itch out, because it's something, or even at work, talking to people and controlling a conversation and being able to bring in others. And I feel like that's so much more natural. And that's why I asked earlier, is there an aspect of the performance in the classroom No, another similarity, man. I was subbing in between jobs recently, and I loved it, man. I was subbing kindergarten. Yeah, it was great, man. But
And I think above all, being personable.
mm-hmm.
You're speaking to real people with real problems.
Right.
You're a real person with real problems. Stop being so many characters. You got to keep up with every character that you mask yourself with. The more you stop, the better you feel in every room you walk into.
Right.
And so like at school, students know immediately what to expect when I walk into the room because I don't change.
Right.
You're going to get this every day. There's different versions, but it's the same person.
100%.
And as far as with the emceeing and all that, yeah, man, I see like, kids always bring me their favorite songs and stuff, want me to listen to stuff like that. And again, I'm like, he's trash. You know? Yeah, I'm better than him. But you gotta, you can't lose touch. You can't lose touch. It's important. It's important for your mind to stay relevant with what's going on.
100%.
Your interests may not have to, but keep your mind sharp and relevant to the awareness of the full scope of what to consider. You know, the glory of going to a supermarket, it's not the few items you purchase, it's the option of how many items you can purchase. Right. And so let your mind, always be available to explore any chambers it needs to,
100%.
To fully develop. But, you have your chambers that you're going to often go to. It's just keep the other doors unlocked in the meantime.
Absolutely. I think of it like you always have some type of something creative, because I'm creative. Like I played guitar for years. I've been in bands and stuff like that. And I feel like even this podcast is a part of me being creative. So
absolutely.
I think there's always some avenue of creativity.
Man,
I haven't even told you about the Bow Wow diss I did in the MySpace days that caught. I did a Bow Wow diss defending Will Smith.
No,
because Bow Wow diss. I was looking for any reason to diss people, so I was like, "Wait, he dissed Will Smith right after he did."
What do you think about what else Will Smith did to the comedian?
Words are weapons. Be careful of the response. It's like, good thing it wasn't a gunshot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to talk negative about Will Smith, but he didn't kill nobody for what they said. I've been slapped for saying the wrong things. Lesson learned.
Yeah.
Chris Rock ain't gonna do it again. But the thing, well,
not there. Yeah.
His brother's the one that's been talking mad now. But I dissed Bow Wow. I wanted a reason to diss Bow Wow for a long time.
Really?
He became like the BET heartthrob, and that's when BET was making this big change.
I mean, MySpace days. So
BET was turning into like Robert Johnson sold it. Everything was getting commercialized out. This is when they're getting Snap Rap and all that. Laffy Taffy's coming in the mix, and Bow Wow just for existing, I dissed him, and and so that track there was like 50,000 plays off that in a MySpace day. So I'm like, what? And so I'm getting hate mail from all this little teeny boppy fan base.
Wow.
And a message board for Jazzy Jeff Fresh Prince message board. I was Googling, to see if anybody was picking it up, and they had a whole discussion about it. And it eventually got me to join the discussion, to let them know, I did it because they were loving it. So why not, why not join a room and speak highly about you? And so I hopped in there, and there's a few people I met there that I still keep up with to this day. This was 2005, 2006, around that time. And I would do songs, we'd send verses overseas. And one of the guys I did, the Breaks, shout out Breaks. One of the songs we did in 2006, we were able to link up when I left Russia. I went to London, and I hollered at him, said, I'm in London for a few days. We linked up. He played the old song, and in the park, we did like a little verse video with it. And it's crazy to think that, 11, 12 years after you make a song, you finally meet the person you did the song on their territory.
Man.
In a park in London.
Nervous.
That's cool.
Wow, man. Cool dude, too.
That's
dude, too,
hip-hop.
Man. We're worldwide, man. We're worldwide.
Man, thank you for coming on.
For sure, man.
Thank you for having me and letting me have this opportunity to do this, man. This has been such a dope experience. Man, I'm looking forward to, we're going to work together one of these days, man. Something, whether it's writing or some more zoo events. Wish you the best with your travels. I know you're getting ready to get out of here.
Yeah, man. About to go see my better half.
Yeah, man.
Same. The one that keeps a smile on my face.
Yes, sir.
This world tries to take it off. Got to find the people that put it on.
Bars. It's good having you. Thank you, gentlemen, for this conversation.
Wait, before we go, is there anything? Anything you want to say before we go?
Man, American Autopsy, my debut album. It's just meant for the ears, man. It's if you had any frustrations towards this country at one point in time, there's definitely some bars in there for you. I think we all have a lot to say. It's just we don't feel like we are allowed the right avenues. We feel restricted on the ways we can say it, especially now with more speech laws and what you can put out on the internet and what you can't put out. It's like they're trying to filter what's raw. You can't filter raw. It's either raw or it's not. And so American Autopsy is an uncut, scope of how I've been looking at things. Being multi-diverse. I'm a cocktail of cultures already with my bloodline. And so shout out to Trenton who mixed it down, Kaya Vance, the Quota Team, Bobby Glory, Trey, man, that group really inspired me to get back into the music. They're some of the first that once I got back into the scene, I was able to watch them. Some great young talent over there. Kaya's poet laureate of the city, and so being able to watch them perform, and they introduced me to Trenton, who sound engineered the whole project for free.
Man,
this man did it like. Come on, man.
Yeah, you ain't beating that.
I can't pass an opportunity like that. I mean, he ain't free no more.
My favorite song is the bar.
Oh, the bar. Yeah, man.
That was real. It's real chill, bro. Your voice is like it's a real good.
Not
bro.
every boy becomes a man. Check his mannerisms.
Yeah, the way you even kick it off, it's like it's talking about learning physics and whatever.
Went from watching
Cataclysmic,
Went from watching Astros to learning astrophysics. Type to make you feel that way.
Go ask a catalyst. Cataclysmic, yeah. All that.
When I was born, yeah, the planet shifted. Go ask a catalyst. They're gonna say my first steps are cataclysmic, catechisms of Catholics and Baptists, Imagine Christians, lying to me about the Black Egyptians, sacrilegious.
Yeah, that's a good jam right there.
I appreciate that, brother, man. Yeah, man. Every song on the album, by the way, had about 4 versions.
Whoa!
Because the beats all came from overseas when I was overseas.
Okay.
I started shaping all the rhymes once I got back here, but there are pieces from other unfinished notebooks.
I see that.
And I just made sure it all worked out right.
Perform any of the other versions, like when you do, or do you think it'll be like a feeling kind of thing? Like, you know what, tonight I think this
it'd have to be impromptu.
Yeah.
It's not something I can decide because there's definitely some edits I made purposely.
Yeah,
and I got to keep it vague. That's the point of secrets, man. I put it this way.
You're gonna show me your cards. I got you.
There's a Lost Files coming out.
Cool.
American Autopsy Lost Files. What didn't make the cut, but some of those I had to make a business decision.
Yeah.
Oh man, I keep a cutthroat, man. I feel like we've all been dealt shady hands, and we're all trying to play the best of our abilities. Right. And so I appreciate y'all giving me the time to.
Likewise, man. Thank you.
Get some exposure, man. I've been like a fly on the wall watching.
Cool, man.
The progression
Public Zoo, bro. Shout out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to all Public Zoo, man. Yeah, I really held it down. Shout outs. Just everybody, man. I don't have enough people I can shout out. Moi brate, moi sestria, žic na Chibarotia, to my people out in Russia. Hasta la victoria siempre.
There you go. That's a good way to end it, man.